This is a KGW News Special Edition.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Falkers. For the fourth day in a row, Oregon has reported more than 300 new coronavirus cases. Clackamas, Washington, and Multnomah counties made up almost half of the 301 new cases. The state's known total of cases now tops 10,000. Health officials also reported 2 more deaths. And despite the case numbers climbing, many people did get out for the 4th of July. KGW's Tim Gordon takes a look from Portland to the coast, and he talks with a local pub owner who decided to shut back down before the weekend got started.
On one of the most popular party weekends of the year, the Lucky Labrador closed its 4 brew pubs for a second time because of the pandemic.
Tough decision. It really was. It was a tough decision to close up the first time.
The Lucky Lab's Gary Geist says he's been watching the virus gain new ground, and he doesn't like what he sees.
My gut feeling is there's going to be more cases, and so I've got a responsibility to my staff and our customers to keep everybody as safe as possible, and we've done the absolute best we can to make that happen.
The Independence Day party went on, including along the Oregon coast. Full disclosure, my daughter took this video from a family home where we stay. Of course, illegal fireworks are not new to Oregon, but one viewer from Cannon Beach said it was especially bad this year. Debatia wrote, "Throughout the town, people were shooting off illegal fireworks with no regard that Cannon Beach does not allow illegal fireworks, nor did we want them." And this is a scene from Pacific City Saturday afternoon, showing a very busy beach and some pretty large groups of people. Back in Portland, while most places with permission continue to serve customers,
we talked about it and pros and cons, and we just decided it's not worth the risk.
The Lucky Labrador does not. The temporary closure is getting positive response on the Lucky Labs Facebook page. But don't get them wrong, they wouldn't be closed temporarily if they didn't feel it was best long term.
That's a tough one because we're supporting people's livelihoods, and shutting down is, shutting down their income.
Meanwhile, at the Tillamook County Beach where I am, it is the day after the big day. There are people here, but it's certainly not as busy as it was, and there's more room to breathe. But still, I've always got one of these with me. In Oceanside, Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Thank you, Tim. In Washington, Clark County health officials are looking into an outbreak at a Vancouver bar. So far, 18 cases have been linked to Orchard's Tap. 4 employees and 14 customers have tested positive, and it's believed more people could be at risk. The bar has closed its doors, and health officials are asking that anyone who was at Orchard's Tap between June 19th and June 25th get tested and quarantine at home for 14 days from their last day of exposure. And another coronavirus outbreak, this one in Seattle. The University of Washington is scrambling to contain an outbreak on Greek Row. The university says at least 112 fraternity house residents have tested positive. An additional 9 students are confirmed to have tested positive as well in the Greek Row outbreak, but they don't live in the houses. A few other students have self-reported that they have also tested positive, but the university says it's working to verify those cases. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, most live firework events were canceled this year. So a lot of people in the Portland metro area had their own shows at home, seemingly more than normal. That spooked hundreds of pets, and guess where they wound up? Animal hospitals. The 4th of July can be one of the busiest holidays at animal hospitals. It spans 4 days, basically, because people set off fireworks a couple days before and after the holiday. Friday to Saturday alone, Dove Lewis Emergency Animal Hospital saw 225 patients, from cats and dogs to chickens and birds. They've also seen a lot of strays. CEO Ron Morgan says staff also fielded tons of calls from people asking about sedation to ease their pets' anxiety over the fireworks.
It's the noise, it's the stressful environment, it's people leave their doors open, and then, an unexpected, firework goes off even in the late afternoon, right? They start pretty early. So when you're not expecting it, and dogs can get out, cats can get out. And then of course there's always the barbecues and a lot of the food around, and ribs and, there's things that dogs aren't supposed to be eating as well.
Now, Morgan says this holiday looks to be on par with last year, but it's tough to gauge because the hospital has been swamped the past couple of months due to new COVID-19 restrictions and safety protocols. As for humans and fireworks, the 4th made for a very busy night for some local fire departments. These are photos of Clark County Fire District 6 fighting a house fire. Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue fielded more calls than normal, and crews went out to more than 25 brush or dumpster fires. The roof of this house caught fire in Bethany, and officials believe fireworks are to blame.
Listening to the radio and following up on calls last night, it definitely was a situation where our crews were going from call to call to call and not having a chance to get back to the station in between.
TVFR says a couple of people were hurt after fireworks exploded in their hands. A couple tips from firefighters: when you are setting off those fireworks, have a hose and fire extinguisher handy. And when you're done, put them in a bucket of water and let them soak overnight before you throw them away. Fireworks were also seen outside the Justice Center in downtown Portland last night. Portland police again declaring it a riot. Police say demonstrators threw rocks and launched fireworks at the Justice Center, and some got into the building. You're looking at video from police that they tweeted out around 4 a.m. You can see people there lighting off fireworks and setting things on fire. Police say they made more than a dozen arrests. Oregon State Police are responding to an incident at a protest in Salem yesterday where a trooper's hand gesture has come into question. This is video we've been seeing on social media. You can see the officer walk up to a counter protester making the gesture, which many, including the Anti-Defamation League, say can be attributed to support of white supremacy. The man then pats the trooper on the shoulder. Well, today, OSP is saying it was a misunderstanding and that the trooper was flashing the OK symbol, asking if the protester was all right. The police body cam video shows the moments leading up to the exchange. You see the counter protester being pushed to the ground. Police then right there making the arrest. And a few moments later, the trooper walks back over to the counter protester. OSP says they reviewed body cam video and that the, quote, best available evidence indicates the trooper was simply checking on the man's status.